back to another video, and today we got our Week 15 NFL game prediction. So we're going to do it how we always do it. Look at all 16 games this week and pick each one. Take a look at the standings compared to me and my buddies that do this and look at their picks as well. Real quick though, if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe, turn on the noties. Posting 4 times a week, college basketball every Monday, college football every Tuesday. Of course, NFL every Wednesday, and then NBA typically every Thursday. We also do MLB content when that season is up and running. So if any of that interests you, make sure you go down there, hit that subscribe button. But let's take a look at the standings right now. I'm still in first. I got a 5-game lead right now over second. And I say this every time. We've done this. This is the 4th year we're doing this. I've won all 3 in the past. I'm looking for the 4-peat. And I will say my gap has kind of been closing. It was at one point I think 9. Now it's down to 5. So I really got to, stop giving him some ground. Now we do have a couple of games different. Connor and Ben just going back and forth with that 3rd place. It feels like every week. And yeah, the rest there's a bit of a drop off after the top 4. But we got to include everyone in here. So looking at the Thursday night game, it's an NFC West matchup. Both these teams very much still alive for the division. I don't think it's anybody's division quite yet. It's still up for grabs. I mean, Seattle is 8-5, the Rams at 7-6, and the Niners at 6-7. So the Niners are definitely going to need some help. The Cardinals also at 6-7. This is definitely a must-win game for both teams. I would say it's more of a must-win for the Niners. They're at home in primetime, favored by 3. I like that. But we just saw the Rams beat the Bills. The Rams look very good offensively. Stafford, Puka, Cooper Kupp, Kyren Williams. Their offense is just. I mean, they put up 44 points against the Bills last week, and they beat the Bills. Now the Niners did blow out the Bears, but that is the Bears. It's definitely more impressive to beat the Bills. Honestly, I don't know. They're a 3-point favorite at home in primetime, but I'm actually going to go with the Rams. With the way they've been playing, they've looked really good, especially offensively. The offense looks very impressive, but this should definitely be a great Thursday night game. There's a lot of really good games this week. It feels like it's either just going to be an absolute blowout or a really good game. So this week, kind of all over the place, but that's who I got for the Thursday night game. I'm going to take the Rams, but it's definitely 50-50 here. Chiefs Browns. This is one of those where it's just, it's not great. The Chiefs only favored by 4.5. Is there something like that I'm missing? That feels really low. Is like Mahomes out or something? He's playing. I really don't. The spread seems low here. Maybe there's something that I'm missing, but I don't think anyone for the Chiefs is injured. I'm going to take them. The ESPN matchup predictor also has the Browns at 41%. That also feels really high. For a 12-1 team playing a 3-10 team, it is in Cleveland, but I don't know. It seems kind of weird to me. I'm going to take the Chiefs. Seems like the easy pick, but the spread does feel a little bit low. Definitely interesting there. The Bengals-Titans. Bengals only favored by 5. That also feels a little low. The Bengals are 5-8, and they're probably going to have to win out to make the playoffs. I think this is a must-win game. I think they get it done. The Titans are just abysmal. They're playing for the number 1 pick at this point. They honestly want to lose. And the Bengals, probably the best offensive league in the league. Actually, no, I take that back. Definitely a top 3 offense in the league at worst. The only 2 that I would say are better are the Lions and maybe the Ravens. But the problem with the Bengals is they likely have the worst defense in the league. Yeah, they did beat the Cowboys Monday night. If this team had a winning record, Joe Burrow would probably be the runaway MVP favorite. He's playing that good. The problem is they're 5-8. Jamar Chase is just an absolute monster. Him and Joe Burrow really being wasted this year. But I think this is a must-win game for Cincy if they want to stay alive. I think they do win it. But Cincy's going to need a lot of help if they want to get into the playoffs. They're kind of running out of time here. Another one of these games. I promise there's some really good games this week. We just got to get through the bad ones first, I guess. Um, all the noon games, man, they're just, except for one of them. We'll get to that in a little bit. The rest of the noon games are just terrible. But it really picks up here at the end of the week. Anyways, Commanders versus Saints. Derek Carr is out for the year. It's going to be. Is it going to be Spencer Rattler, I believe? That doesn't sound very good. The Commanders still trying to get a good seed in the NFC. Right now they're the 7th seed at 8-5. Crazy. I think they win. I think Jane Daniels has a big day. I think they can get the ground game going. The Saints just absolutely overrun with injuries. Derek Carr out, Chris Olave out, Rashid Shaheed out. Now I know those two have been out for a while. Taysom Hill now out for the year. It's really just Kamara. Yeah, the Saints don't look great right now. The Commanders are actually playing for something. They're favored by 7.5. I'll take Washington. The Ravens versus Giants. This is kind of crazy to me. I know the Giants are bad. They're playing Drew Lock, I believe. If they're not playing Drew Lock, I don't even know who's at quarterback. It's because it's not DeVito. And the Giants are 2-11. I believe they're at the number one pick right now, so that's something for you, Giants fans. Or they might be tied with the Raiders. Those are the only 2-11 teams. This spread is ridiculous. The Ravens favored by 16.5. An NFL game with that big of a spread, that is absolutely crazy. That just goes to show me the Ravens are going to win this game. 16.5. Honestly, I might bet the under. I mean, that is a huge spread for an NFL game. I don't know. That seems really high, especially with an over-under of only 42.5. So that's saying the Ravens are going to have to win like 31-14-ish, something around there. I mean, that could happen. The Ravens are definitely the better team, so I'm going to take them. But yeah, 16.5. That was crazy. That really stood out to me. I had to bring that up. The Cowboys versus Panthers. This is actually an interesting one. The Panthers have been playing really good recently. Bryce Young's been doing his thing. The Cowboys definitely have not been playing very good recently. Another thing, the Panthers 3-10. Dallas is 5-8. The Panthers are 3-point favorites here. Vegas knows that how good the Panthers have been playing. They haven't been winning, but they've been playing some good teams, very close. I mean, they nearly beat the Eagles last week. They took the Buccaneers to overtime. They lost by 3 to the Chiefs the week before that. And then before those two games, they won 2 in a row. So the Panthers have actually, in their past 5 games, been looking pretty serviceable. This is one of those games, it's kind of weird, but I feel like it's a 50-50 game. I'm going to take the Cowboys just because I think that team desperately needs a win for the fan base. I think this is a game where they get it. The Panthers, I believe, still have the worst run defense in the NFL, so hopefully they can get Rico Dowdle involved a little bit more. They still got CeeDee Lamb. I mean, they still have talent all across the team. Just without Dak, it's definitely harder to win these games. But I think this is definitely a winnable game for the Cowboys. But honestly, I mean, I'm not surprised the Panthers are favored. They've been playing really good recently. The Jets versus Jaguars, 3-10 teams. I'm surprised. Both teams with the same record. Nobody's on the home team. I'll take the Jets as well. They're 3.5-point favorites. They at least have something to be excited about. I mean, the Jaguars are playing Mac Jones at quarterback. The Jets still have Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. I'm not sure if Breece Hall will play. Honestly, I'm not really worried if he doesn't. I think they still win. At least the receivers have been doing good for the Jets. I mean, they haven't been winning. 3-10. I mean, I had them finishing 10-7 preseason. I went back to fact check. 10-7. That is terrible prediction. Now the best they can get is 7-10. And what are the odds they win 4 in a row? I'm assuming not very high. Aaron Rodgers sounds like he wants out. But I think this is a winnable game. I think the defense has a big day. Sauce Gardner's still there. They still got a great D line. Maybe they get to Mac Jones a little bit, force some turnovers, cause some chaos. I think the Jets do win, though. This is really the first good game of the slate. The Dolphins 6-7, trying to make a late playoff push after starting off very slow. The Texans 8-5. Have been looking a little bit shaky, but they're coming off the bye. They're going to be well rested. I'm honestly surprised everybody's on the Dolphins here. I'm going to go ahead and take the Texans coming off the bye at home. I think they get a nice win. They're favored by 3 as well. Everybody on the underdog. I'll take the Texans. I mean, they have the better record. They still have C.J. Stroud, Joe Mixon, Nico Collins. This is really just, um, one team's coming off the bye, one isn't. So I feel like the Texans are going to be well rested. They're also at home here. So this kind of feels like a clear one to just go against everybody else. I know the Dolphins have been pretty hot recently, but I could definitely see the Texans winning this game. These are about even teams, at least in my eyes. The Dolphins have won 4 out of their last 5, though. I'll take the Texans though, coming off the bye. I think they get it done at home here. Moving on in to the afternoon games. We're back to 16 games, by the way, this week. I'm not sure if I already mentioned that. Everybody's through the bye. This is the Peyton Manning Bowl right here. Colts versus Broncos. The Colts technically still could get in the playoffs, but honestly, the Broncos' defenses look so good. Bo Nix has looked so good at home in the altitude. I'll go ahead and take Denver. I think Denver is looking like a playoff team right now. I mean, they're in a very good chance to get into the playoffs. Good for the Broncos. Nobody expected this coming into the season. I think I had them at 4 wins. They have already doubled that with still 4 games yet to play. There's a good chance there's a good chance the Broncos finish with double-digit wins. I wouldn't be surprised. I think they get a pretty big win over the Colts. Not a big win, but not like by, score-wise. Just saying like, in terms of their season. I think this is a big game. I think they get it done. I think at home, that's enough for the Broncos to do it. I mean, the Colts, I'm really not all that concerned with their offense, really. Jonathan Taylor's kind of been a little bit lackluster lately. Anthony Richardson, iffy. I'm not sure if Josh Downs will even play here. He has been injured for quite a bit. So I'll take the Broncos. They're just the more complete team. And the defense for the Broncos looks like a top 3 defense in the league. Maybe the best in the league. Their defense is legit. So I'm going to take the Broncos to win this game in the altitude. This is probably no, this is definitely the game of the week. 10-3 Bills versus the 12-1 Lions. A huge game for both teams. It looks like the Lions, even if they lose this game, there's still a really good chance they get the 1 seed in the playoffs. This could be a Super Bowl preview. I mean, if I had to pick right now the 2 teams that I think would get to the Super Bowl, I'd probably pick these 2 teams. So this could likely be a Super Bowl preview in Detroit. It's going to be a great game. I could really see the Lions losing this one just because what are the chances the Lions finish 16-1? I know that's a bad way of thinking about it, but that's just how my brain works. I mean, there's no way the Lions finish 16-1. I mean, finishing 15-2 even might be hard to do. That just seems so crazy to me. This is one where I could see the Bills winning just because they also did lose last week. So do I see the Bills losing 2 in a row? Not really. But it's just so hard to pick against the Lions, especially at home. I'm going to take them. They're 2.5-point favorites. This is probably the lowest spread they've had all season. I'll take the Lions. I mean, they just look like an absolute freight train. Nobody can stop them. They're on a, 10-game win streak now. I'll take the Lions at home. But again, I could really see the Bills winning this one. I'm this close to taking the Bills. The only problem is it is in Ford Field, so that's definitely a huge factor for the Lions. That stadium's going to be loud. Next game, Eagles versus Steelers. Another huge game, 11-2 versus 10-3. The Eagles are looking like they're about to have wrapped up the NFC East. They're looking like they will likely get the 2 seed in the NFC unless the Lions collapse, which I don't see really happening. The Steelers are still in the conversation for the 2 seed in their conference as well. They're tied with the Bills right now at 10-3. The Bills could very much lose this week, so this is a huge game for both of these teams. Same with the Eagles. The Lions could very much lose this game. And if the Eagles win, they'll have the same record, so I don't know how the tiebreaker works there. But this could be a huge game. Both these teams with a win and they're the team they're behind to lose, they could move up a seed here in the playoffs. So those are two huge games for playoff seeding. The Eagles are rolling right now. At home, they're 5.5-point favorites, which kind of seems like a lot, especially in a big game like this. But I am going to have to trust the Eagles. I still have doubts about the Steelers team. I know Mike Tomlin is just the best coach in the league. I mean, he has never had a losing season. That is crazy, especially with some of the teams he's had. I mean, this year, the only reason I predicted the Steelers to go 9-8 was because of Mike Tomlin, and they have already exceeded that. They're 10-3 right now. Did I say I predicted them to go 9-3? I meant to say I predicted them to go 9-8. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Eagles. I think Saquon has a nice bounce back game. He kind of didn't do great against the Panthers, which is kind of weird because the Panthers' run defense has been horrendous this whole season. So I think he has a big bounce back game. Maybe Tomlin scheme something up where they shut him down. But even then, you still got Jalen Hurts. You still got A.J. Brown. You still got Devonta Smith. The Eagles' secondary looks really solid, a lot more improved from last season. I don't know. I think I'm going to take the Eagles at home here. But yeah, a Pennsylvania battle should be a fun one. Next game, Patriots versus Cardinals. We've had a lot of good games in a row. This is not one of those. 3-10 Patriots versus 6-7 Cardinals. This game just means more to the Cardinals. At this point, the Patriots want to lose. Jerick Mays looks solid, but with the Cardinals, they're still trying to win the NFC West. They're still trying to get into the playoffs. So I'll go ahead and take the Cardinals. They're 6-point favorites at home. Pretty easy pick there. Buccaneers versus Chargers. Another huge game. Both these teams, I believe, are currently in the playoffs. The Chargers did just lose last week to the Chiefs off of a doinked field goal that doinks in for the Chiefs. The Chiefs just find a way to win in the craziest ways every week. It's ridiculous. The Buccaneers are kind of on a bit of a hot streak. I think they've won 3 in a row. Yeah, 3 in a row. Although it was against the Giants, Panthers, and Raiders. Now they're going to have to play a good team once again. Before this 3-game win streak, they were on a 4-game losing streak, all against good teams, by the way. Just kind of wanted to point that out. But the Buccaneers did also beat the Commanders early in the season. They beat the Lions. They beat the Eagles. So they've shown they can beat good teams. It's kind of weird. I mean, the Buccaneers one week will look like a top 3 team in the NFC. The next week they'll look like not even playoff worthy. So it's kind of iffy what you get. I'm going to trust the consistency in the Chargers. You know what you're going to get from them. It's going to be a team that wants to run the ball. They're going to play really good defense. I think they match up pretty well against the Buccaneers. I think they can kind of not shut down, but at least slow down the Buccaneers offense. I'm not sure if Bucky Irving plays. If he doesn't, that's a huge blow for Tampa. So I think the Chargers get a bounce back win here and kind of snap this Tampa winning streak. I think they get it done at home. But yeah, this is a pretty big game as well. Packers versus Seahawks on Sunday Night Football. Another huge game. 9-4 Green Bay takes on 8-5 Seattle in Seattle. The Seahawks are currently first place in the NFC West. They're looking like a really good team. I will say, Jackson Smith-Njigba has arrived for Seattle. I mean, he wasn't really getting much last year. He was wide receiver 3 behind Tyler Lockett. Now he's getting more work than DK Metcalf at this point. JSN is ascending right now. Whoever's watching this that has him in fantasy, I'm sure you're thrilled about this because he has been amazing. Just kind of wanted to shout him out because he is from Ohio State. That is my favorite team, so just kind of wanted to give him some props there. But yeah, the Seahawks as a whole, even without Kenneth Walker, I mean, Zach Charbonnet goes absolutely ballistic last week for them. He was ripping off long runs left and right. I'm not sure if Kenneth Walker plays. That's definitely concerning. I'd definitely rather have Kenneth Walker than Zach Charbonnet. Now, Charbonnet's not bad whatsoever. Just would rather have the starter in. I'm not sure if Kenneth Walker plays here with the Packers. They're coming off a loss to the Lions on Thursday night. I think they get a much needed bounce back win here. I think Jordan Love has a good game. I think Josh Jacobs continues his run. He's been on a tear recently. Um, yeah, this is a pretty good game. I think the Packers are trying to get a higher seed in the playoffs because right now they're the sixth seed, which is kind of low, um, especially for a team of this caliber. I feel like the Packers are definitely, at the very least, like a top five team in the NFC, maybe even top four, top three. I mean, if you had to tell me Packers or Vikings, I'd probably pick the Packers. The only teams I'd say are better than the Packers right now are the Eagles and the Lions. Yeah, so I'd probably say the Packers are the third best team in the NFC. I think the Packers get a win here in Seattle. This is going to be a great Sunday night game, though. I could see this one being pretty high scoring. Although the Packers' defense has been pretty good, but I think the Packers win. I think they're overall better. Monday Night Football, Bears versus Vikings. Not a good idea to put the Bears on prime time. Just going to point that out. The Bears are just absolutely poverty. I don't know what to say anymore. Um, they went on a streak of losing in the most outrageous ways, finding a way to lose games, really finding a way to get back into games and almost win, and then coming up just short. That's really what they were doing. They've now lost seven in a row. Let's make it eight. I'm gonna take the Vikings. They're 7-point favorites at home. The Vikings defense is very good. I don't know. I've lost all hope in the Bears at this point. I say we lose out, and I think there's a good chance they do lose out. I've been saying this ever since they lost to the Cardinals and the Patriots. I said they actually might not win a game the rest of the season. And yeah, they've lost seven in a row now. And their remaining games, not to mention, they have this game against an 11-2 team. Then they play the 12-1 Lions, the 8-5 Seahawks, and the 9-4 Packers. I honestly think there's a good chance they finish 4-13, which is crazy. Thomas Brown looks like he's not going to be the head coach. I think hopefully we get Ben Johnson. I've seen Mike Vrabel. I've seen um, the Lions DC as well. I've seen Cliff Kingsbury. We'll see who we get. I'm sure we'll find a way to mess it up. That's just knowing the Bears. Yeah, sorry I had to go on a little rant there, but I definitely do think the Vikings are the better team. Yeah, they should win here at home Monday night. There's actually two Monday night games, kind of weird. One starts at 8 Eastern, the other starts at 8:30 Eastern. This one, kind of surprised to see the Falcons only favored by 4. I mean, the Raiders are playing Desmond Ridder. Maybe it's the Desmond Ridder revenge game, but you've had no Minshew. Aiden O'Connell's now gone. With a team on its third string quarterback who already is one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the league. The only saving grace there is Max Crosby at this point. The Falcons trying to get back into the NFC South. I mean, they're only a game back of the Bucks. It feels like they've had a fall from glory. I was saying a couple weeks ago, it looks like they've secured the NFC West. They've now lost 4 games in a row. People are calling for Kirk Cousins to get benched and Michael Penix to come in. If the Falcons lose this game, you gotta bench Kirk Cousins. I mean, you just have to. You cannot lose to a 2-11 team. Now, lucky for the Falcons, they get the two worst teams in the league back to back. They get the Raiders and the Giants. Then they close out with the Commanders and the Panthers. So they could very much win 3 of those 4. And that puts them at a 9-8 record. That could be enough to win the NFC South. I think the Falcons do win here Monday night. Yeah, only favored by 4 though. I feel like that one might be a little bit too low because the Raiders just look terrible. So I'm gonna take the Falcons here pretty easily. But that is going to do it for the Week 15 NFL predictions. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you get on there, leave a like, subscribe. We do these every single Wednesday, so that is what you can expect. We also do college basketball every Monday, college football every Tuesday, and then NBA every Thursday, as well as MLB content. So if any of that intrigues you, interests you, go down there, hit that subscribe button, turn on the noties, make sure you don't miss when we post, because we're posting 4 times a week. So yeah, very exciting time to be on the channel. I would love to have you join us down there. That is going to do it though. Links in the description as always. X, Twitch, TikTok, Discord. Make sure you follow those, join those. Make sure you check out the videos popping up on your screen right now. And yeah, I think that's all. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you for watching.